Hi everybody. Tonight we have a really interesting topic. Did you know that anxiety disorders are the most common mental illness in this country, affecting over 40 million adults? And I personally believe it's way, way, way higher than that. Meanwhile, it's estimated that the root cause of 60 to 80% of all visits to the doctor are stress related. Think about that. Both anxiety and stress can have a serious negative impact on a person's quality of life. We all know that. But what you might not know is that it can lead to problems such as insomnia, headaches, digestive issues, as well as more serious conditions like heart disease and even addiction. A lot of people don't realize that. Fortunately, there are many ways to manage anxiety and stress, and I happen to know a little bit about that. Now, some people turn to toxic prescription medications with all kinds of mixed results and a lot of negative side effects, while other people like myself prefer to use all natural approaches and learning new skills like meditation and present moment awareness and things of that nature. Tonight, I want to discuss the controversial topic of CBD oils. Now, I'll reveal the answers to all of your most curious questions like, what exactly is it? How does it work? What are the side effects? Can it make you high? That's a big one. And probably the most important one right now is it legal? Is it legal? So we'll talk about all of that. I want to tell you how I discovered CBD because I was totally against this sort of thing my entire life. Because of the religious indoctrination I received as a kid, I was closed-minded to anything that my parents didn't understand. And by the way, one of the most important life lessons that I've learned is that the most expensive thing that you will ever own is a closed mind. So believe it or not, I had never used or even experienced any sort of non-prescribed drugs until around 2017. I've never smoked a cigarette, even to this day have still not even held a cigarette up to my lips. And I've never experimented with any kind of non-prescribed substance. So as you know, I spent almost 30 years touring all over the world as a professional illusionist. Over 100 countries around the world I traveled. And so there was never any time for drugs because when you're touring, you're in a constant state of motion. There's always another city and there's always another show, especially when you're traveling with lions and tigers. So then in 2017, while on tour with a very famous A-list singer, I was in a life-altering traumatic accident and I died 3 separate times. Once at the scene, a second time on the operating table, and the final time after they woke me up from a medically induced coma. I actually went into respiratory failure. And my body was doing everything that it could to check out and leave this world. And so while I was in the hospital, I was there for a really long time, my sister Robin, who used to be a trauma nurse, flew from Virginia to Las Vegas to visit with me in the hospital. And it was at that time that she discovered that I was being given the highest legal amounts of pain medication that a hospital can give you. Now, that's pretty scary. This concerned her because she knew I would eventually be released and I would only be given a very, very small dosage of Percocet, which simply was not going to cut it for the amount of pain that I was dealing with. I was really messed up. And so now, as many of you know, this can be a really slippery slope. And every day in this country, hospital patients are released and walk out of that hospital a drug-addicted junkie through absolutely no fault of their own. And that really is a dirty little secret that no one ever wants to discuss. But it's really important for people to understand that we're producing all of these junkies. I was on the highest legal dose of Dilaudid that can be administered. Now, for those of you who don't know what Dilaudid is, it's basically synthetic heroin. Let that sink in for a second. I was on the highest legal limits. I had been taking it for months, and I even had a pain pump, which is this little button on a wire that you can push every 30 minutes to give yourself more medication. And let me tell you that my body knew exactly when I could push that button again to the second, because I was addicted. It was a very scary situation to be faced with, because once I got out of the hospital, I wasn't going to have access to anywhere close to the type of medication, yet I would still have the pain and would still have to deal with that somehow. So this is a scary situation that millions of people find themselves in every single year. So what do? I was going to walk out of that hospital a full-fledged drug-addicted junkie with no resources, no way to fix it. I live in Las Vegas, and in the state of Nevada, medical marijuana at that time had just become legal. And when I spoke to my doctor about this, he suggested and was open to the fact that I should apply for a medical marijuana license. That kind of freaked me out a little bit because of my upbringing. I was still indoctrinated in my head, and I was completely ignorant to all things marijuana, and it sounded to me at the time like a really great way to screw up my life. Ignorant being the key word in that statement. Because when you don't have all of the information and you suffer from stress and anxiety, your mind begins to fill in the blanks with all kinds of scary thoughts, none of which are true, by the way. To make a long story short, I did get my license and began using edibles to control the pain. And to my utter shock and amazement, they worked rather well. And suddenly there was this shift in my mindset, and I suddenly realized this is something that really could help millions of people. So I began researching all things marijuana because I wanted to know what I didn't know. I needed to fill in those blanks with facts. Now let me begin by saying that I do not want smoke in my lungs, never have, and I still don't. I just don't like it. Nothing against those who do, but for me, I just don't like it. So I was looking for ways to control the pain without having to smoke anything. Now that journey eventually led me to CBD oils, something I had honestly never heard of before. But I kept reading research about its all natural benefits. And so the more I researched, the more I learned, and I finally settled on a hemp-derived CBD oil because it's all natural and it comes from the ground. And if you know me, you know I have this little saying that I say, if it doesn't grow out of the ground, it doesn't go down. It's kind of my little philosophy. It has to come out of the ground, has to be natural if I'm going to put it in my body. Meaning I'm not interested in putting anything in my body that isn't an all-natural, healthy product for me to ingest. So the first myth that I want to dispel is that CBD oils will not get you high. Let me say that again because it's that important. You will not get high from using CBD oils. It's just not going to happen. It took me a long time and lots of trial and error to finally find the right company and brand. And over time, I found this little mom and pop company called Rosno Farms out of Michigan. And being that it was American-made product and that was something that was very important to me, and the fact that it also gave me the chance to support a small business in America, that was equally important to me. So right away there were 2 boxes that were checked, but was it going to work? I didn't know. I needed to try it like all the others. What made the difference with this company is that they were the only company I found to actually publish their third-party independent tested lab results on their website. So I was able to see exactly what was inside the product and how it was tested. And what I found is that the quality was truly amazing. Now, I noticed something after using it for about a week or so. I started to feel different. And it came to my attention, and not only did it help me with the pain that I was in, but I noticed that when I took it, I wasn't as anxious anymore either. And that really caught my attention. I was more calm, I was more peaceful, and I felt more in control, which sounds totally crazy to me, being that it is what it is. So let's get into some of the specifics about using CBD oil. The very first thing that I want to mention is that I wrote a very informative and detailed blog post about this topic, and there you will find 2 really important links. The first link is to the research that I discovered that was done by Oregon State University that shows that hemp compounds actually prevent coronavirus from entering human cells. Now, I found this utterly fascinating and really dug into this research. Think about it. Think about how powerful that is. Here's a compound, an all-natural compound that we can grow in the United States that can actually prevent these cells from entering our bodies. And when I was researching this exciting news, I came across several great articles that support hemp products having great results with the recovery of long-haul damage to the body. It's just more proof that hemp products, including CBD, have so many health benefits. We just need more and more research. You should really check out that research for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Do the investigation yourself. Oregon State University published their research findings on their website, and I've published the direct link in my blog post, so look for that. Very important. The second link is to the brand that I now use every day and have been using for quite some time. Rosno Farms is the best of the best. I've tried them all, and most of what's out there is garbage. I've done all the research for you, and so they are the way to go. CBD is an effective treatment for anxiety and stress. And as we know, this disorder can be debilitating and can significantly affect the quality of a person's life. But this magical little oil has been shown to be a really effective treatment for anxiety and stress in some people. So that leads us to the question of, how does it work? What exactly is it? Well, let's start by saying it's not magic, it's science. It works by activating the serotonin receptors in our brains. Serotonin is a neurotransmitter that helps us regulate moods and emotions. Now, CBD oil also reduces inflammation in the brain, which is often responsible for anxiety and stress. But here's how I like to use it. It took me a while to figure out what I'm about to tell you. But I like to use it as a secondary defense system. And I'll explain to you what I mean. I use my skills first. And when I find myself having one of those really challenging days that we all have from time to time, I'll use the CBD oil to take the edge off. So it's not a panacea, it's just another tool in my tool chest that I can use. I've been using CBD oil since 2017, and I'm a huge proponent of it because it's really helped me. It has a wide array of known, well-documented benefits, and some of them might surprise you. Some of the medical conditions that CBD oil has been known to help with are things like arthritis, chronic pain, cancer, epilepsy, IBS, which is inflammatory bowel disease, multiple sclerosis, psychosis, stress and anxiety, depression, and that's just to name a few. There are a lot of conditions that this can really help. I know that there's a lot of people that take it for arthritis because it really helps with that. The two biggest questions that you are going to have is it safe and is it legal? So let's dive into it. Let's get into it and talk about those two things. So first, is CBD safe? CBD oil is safe to use. There is an overwhelming amount of research on this topic. Go find it. It has been shown to be safe in both humans and animals. I've actually given it to my dog, diluted of course, but I've given CBD oil to calm him down and it works. There have been no reports of serious side effects from using CBD oil ever. So unless you were to drink the whole bottle, I can imagine that's not very healthy. But CBD oil is one of the most misunderstood compounds, mainly because of the 1950s government propaganda films that demonized marijuana like Reefer Madness. I'm sure many of you of a certain age will remember that film. If you don't, go look it up. It's crazy. So many people believed that film, and today we know unequivocally that film is factually garbage and should be regarded as such. It's just trash. Nothing in that film is true. Some people view CBD oil as a dangerous substance, but this is far from the well-documented truth. And 99% of the time, they are people who have never researched it, know nothing about it, or have even tried to use it themselves. So ignore those folks and realize that they're talking out of their... Just remember that because you believe something doesn't mean that it's true. Even if you really feel passionately about it and you feel like you know the truth, it's probably not the case. I say it all the time, but people still believe what they want to believe. CBD oil is completely safe to use and has a wide variety of benefits. It can help reduce anxiety levels and it can help improve your moods. Wouldn't you like something that could just help elevate your mood just a little bit? That's what it does for me. CBD oil can also be helpful from people who suffer with insomnia. I have personally found it very helpful in relaxation and for inducing sleep. But don't travel with it. Don't travel with CBD oil. I don't recommend that at all. It's also non-toxic and non-addictive. And that is so important, I want to say it again. It's non-toxic and it's non-addictive. You're not going to get sick from this and you're not going to get addicted. So that's very important for you to understand. Which brings us to the big question. Is CBD oil legal? Let me take a deep breath before I answer this one, because the answer to this question is a little complicated, as CBD legality depends really on where you live. In the United States, for example, CBD is technically illegal according to the federal government. Now, having said that, this is likely to change very soon. The wheels are in motion. It's probably going to become federally legal at some point in the very near future. However, many states have passed laws legalizing CBD in some form or another. And so CBD is legal if it's legal in your state. So the answer to the question is yes and no. It depends on where you live, where you're located. So if you're looking for CBD oil, I would suggest that you check with your local laws to make sure that you're within the bounds of legality, because you don't want to do anything that's illegal and you don't want to do anything that's going to get you in trouble. That having been said, I've been ordering it through the mail from Michigan for years with absolutely no issue at all. And so it's just not something that they're really interested in going after. So to really sum it all up, CBD oil has been shown to be very effective in treating a wide array of things, including anxiety and stress, which is important for people like us. However, I also tell people that your skill set should be your first offense, because that can never be taken away from you. And once you learn those skills, they're always going to be there. Learning to depend on a pill or even CBD oil can be tricky to your stress and anxiety if it's the only thing you know and it's suddenly taken away from you, and for whatever reason you can't get it anymore. This is a reality in our lives today. I don't know, say something happens crazy like a global pandemic. It could happen. If you are struggling with anxiety and stress, CBD may be worth trying. It certainly has been for me. To get the CBD oil that I use, click the link on this page. Now, I want to show you the oil that I use. This is Rosenau Farms, and this is the orange flavor 500 milligram product, and it tastes really good actually. This is the product, and I use 2 eyedropper fulls. This is an eyedropper here, and I just put 2 eyedropper fulls underneath my tongue, hold it there for 15 to 30 seconds and let it seep in to the membrane underneath my tongue, and then I swallow it, and it has a very, very pleasant taste. And this is a great flavor. It's my favorite flavor, to be honest with you. It's the one I use most often. And then they also have this peppermint mocha, which is absolutely addicting, the flavor anyway. This one, let me tell you, you take this and you're going to want to drink the whole bottle, but don't. It's really good. Now, this is 1,000 milligrams, and 1,000 milligrams, I use it the same way. I put 1 dropper of this underneath my tongue because it's 1,000 milligrams. It's a little bit stronger, so I use a little bit less. Get the same effect. Really, it's just the flavor that is different. This one's really popular around the holidays. So both of these, the orange flavor and the peppermint mocha, are available. Just click the link on this page or go to my website at stephendiamond.com. I really hope that you'll try it. I hope that it works for you as well as it's worked for me and the thousands of other people that I have introduced to this, because it's a great product. And if it works and it's safe and it's legal where you are, why not use it to help improve the quality of your life? Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something tonight. Take care of yourself and each other, and I'll see you next week.